Hi, I'm Life Coach Landry, and the topic is don't chase after being dumped. I have an email here from somebody, and this is from someone in Dallas, Texas, who says, recently me and my boyfriend broke up, and when we broke up, it was really unclear to me who dumped who, so I'm not really sure whether I should call him or wait for him to call me. Now, before I read the rest of our email, let's define what being dumped is. So whoever's not communicating is usually the person who dumps you. It's pretty simple, right? So if you were fighting back and forth or getting into it, or they invited you over or you invited them over and the other person's like, I can't make it, or they flake on you, or they don't call you back, or you drop them a text and they don't text you back, and this is when the relationship's still active, then they've dumped you, okay? No communication means you've been dumped. Now, a lot of people will go, yeah, but I'm the one that told them I want to break up. That's fine, depending on what happened. So for a lot of people is they'll warn people, hey, like, you're hurting my feelings, you're doing this or that, or when we don't talk, it hurts my feelings, or, last week I thought about what you said, yada, yada, yada. If you're going through those motions, then what's probably happening is that one of you needs the other to do something, and when they don't do it, they stop talking to you, right? I was in a relationship where, it's probably when I was in my younger 20s, where I was in a relationship that required lots of communication, or a lot more than I had been in before. So I knew when that communication would stop, that relationship was going to wither and die, right? Of course, you're in your 20s, but the point is that it was clear communication was needed. So reading on with her email, she says, I contacted him yesterday. He hasn't responded. Now, when we were talking, he actually invited me to a barbecue, and I never responded on the invite because we were fighting the last time we had talked. So you dumped him then. So he was still trying to make effort and trying to get you to go out or bridge whatever was going on. He was trying to, it looks like to me, like he was trying to say, hey, I still want to be with you. I still love you. Let's carry on and let's talk about things as we go. And you just didn't do it. So after that, I reached out a couple of days later, and he hasn't responded to that. Now I'm kind of concerned. I'm still in love with him, but I had some things on my mind. Now looking back, I wish I had talked to him instead of waiting to talk to him, because I think I may have damaged my relationship. Well, duh. I mean, you hurt your relationship, right? So here's the deal. He doesn't need space because you've already given him space because you didn't talk to him. The problem is the space that you gave him was hurtful space. So now he's hurt by what you've done. What does hurt make us? What happens when we get hurt? We become untrusting. So right now, if I had to take a guess, he's not sure he trusts you with his feelings anymore because he made an invite to you. It looks like he was showing goodwill and you didn't turn it down. You just simply didn't respond. That's a bad thing to do. Reading on, she says, before that, we had been watching some preseason college games together, and I'm a huge TCU fan. Go Frogs. And I'm not a huge kid. She is. And when I talked to him, I finally got him on the phone when we were doing that. He invited me to come over to watch the game. I was going to go. I was planning to go. I got ready. Something came up right before I went, so I didn't end up being able to go, and I think that upset him. So my question to you is, did you actually talk to him and follow up with him afterwards to tell him, I couldn't make it because of XYZ, let's do this game instead? Or how about I come over later tonight anyways? Or how about I come same time tomorrow, ? What always hurts people is when you don't give them something as a follow-up to what you can't do. Okay? It's real simple. It's kind of like when you're dating. If I send someone a text and you're dating, or you send someone a text and you're dating, and they can't make it, or you set up a date and they have to cancel, if they don't propose another time, their interest level is low. Okay? It's real rudimentary, simple. There's nothing fancy about it. So right now, what I think's going on, if I had to give you some advice on why he's not doing that, he's probably following guys like me advice, is that he was trying to work things out with you. You were being a little flaky, so he's not going to chase you anymore, right? I mean, first of all, I tell all men, if you're watching this video, You shouldn't be chasing women, period. The men that chase women are the weakest of the bunch. They are the ones that ultimately fuck up. And the guys that are in the, I say top 10% of men, sometimes only 5%, those women end up going to them because those guys can handle it. Those guys end up having lots of options, right? And the reason they have options because women see value in their longevity, that they're manly, they hold the fort down, they're a strong rock, they don't get insecure and start lashing out. And that makes women feel safe when you're steady. When you're that guy who's always blowing up her phone and yelling at her through text and stuff like that, it's one thing to say a couple of things that might be disparaging to her, but at least you're being off. It's another thing to send paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs. And it sounds like to me, in her case, where she messed up is she didn't appropriately address what sounds like he was trying to do. He was trying to get you two together to fix things. You were too busy with something else, and he ended up not liking that. And now he doesn't want to chase you. And so my advice, what you're going to have to do is, I think every guy and every woman has probably been in this position before. You're going to have to do something very large in order to get his attention, to get him to a table, to even get him halfway to listen to you. Because right now he doesn't trust you. And when you don't trust somebody, your listening is very, very low. It's almost non-existent. So if you love him, you need to go after him very soon, and you need to make it count. Don't blow him up every day with little things or not. Say something really strong, very very open, and give him the comfortability to respond. And when he does, even if he gives you a crumb, you need to take it and you need to make the most of it. Don't get disparaged by anything, because right now he's going to barely respond to you because he's unsure about why you're not responding. Okay? And I'm going to move on. I have a message from a guy over here who says, I was dating a girl for 2 years and we broke up, and now I can't get her to call me back. I've sent her messages. I've sent her emails. I've sent her flowers. I've sent her whatever. Dude. Okay, here's the deal. Women need space when they're hurt. Just like, you just heard me read the email before. So let her have her space. Now, I understand your gestures and whatnot. The problem, dude, is you're over pursuing. Okay? You're over pursuing. You are too caught up in what you read when you look at magazines. If you floor women and whatnot, you think if I send one more text or one more email or one more set of flowers, she's finally going to give in and want to be with me. Once women have space and they start to miss you, that has effect. Right out of the gate, you're probably not going to affect anything. He goes on to say, I've watched all your videos and I've used a ton of your methods, and they worked up until I blew it when I yelled at her and we got in a fight and I said a lot of disparaging things, and I never went back and said I'm sorry. So that's a big mistake. So when you say things to somebody, you are responsible for those. Even if you didn't mean them, you still have to make up for them. Okay? So it sounds like you said a bunch of things to her that probably hurt her feelings, and now she wants you to make up for those. And flowers and things like that are good gestures. But in the end, when she does call you back, which I bet she will. Look, we all get hurt. And the only time women or men typically don't respond to a relationship and want to get back is when they're cheated on physically. Okay? Now, it doesn't mean you're emailing them, but when you're cheated on physically, 99.7% of relationships never make a comeback. Okay? And it sounds like that might be what's going on. And let me read the rest of what he's saying. So since we haven't talked, I wanted to know, do I still have a chance? Should I just give up or date other girls? Absolutely. Here's the deal. If she doesn't want to talk to you, you go about your life as if life has moved on, right? Because you're making gestures and whatnot. Now, you need to stop those because now she knows, so just stop. But in the future, what you need to do is when she does contact you, you need to let her know that you loved hearing from her and that you'd like to meet for face-to-face to talk about it. Now, when you see her, you don't have to talk about the relationship. Let her bring it up if she wants to talk about it, but you just need to have a good time, okay? I'm going to read one more to you. This is from a girl going on some first dates. Hi, Life Coach Landry. I love your videos. I've watched over 50 of your videos. Believe it or not, they're some of my favorite nighttime listening. I don't even watch the video. I just put the headphone in my ears and listen to you talk while I do other things around my house. She goes, you have a really calming voice and good effect. Thanks. What I would like to know is when I'm dating a guy and we've only gone on, 2 or 3 dates, should I initiate contact to set up dates or should I wait on him? So if you've watched any of my videos on communication, first of all, men find it a gigantic turn on when a woman is willing to be secure and show her interest to you. So absolutely you should reach out and try to start a date with a man if you think that's going to be effective for you. What I would say on top of that, though, is also be a communicator with him. And if he has interest, he'll communicate back. And most of the time, he'll set up a date with the communication you give him. Might take you a couple of messages in, but he'll get there. You know, he might have to warm up to the idea that, you know, he needs to stop what he's doing and talk to you or give you his attention. But he will get there. The one thing I would not do if I were you is I would not be inconsistent with him. Don't talk to him one day, be absent another day. Men find women femininity and the energy that women give off. We find very attractive when women are consistently feminine and communicative with men. Men, you know, revolve with that. If you're jumpy and spacey, he's going to not think your feminine energy is very consistent. He's not going to find that you have a lot of confidence. He's going to find you. Doesn't mean you have to be all over somebody, but if a man is dating you and you're in and out, he's going to think you're flaky. And a lot of men are taught when women are flaky just to back off them and go a different direction. Okay? So that was a lot of info for you guys in one video. But the whole point of this is if you were dumped, you don't chase somebody when you're dumped. And dumping doesn't mean they told you, I want to break up or goodbye or they hang up the phone. If you did things to cause being dumped, then you are the one who dumped them. All they did was finalize it because they were so frustrated with what you were doing. So if you still love that person, if you still want to get back with them, you better plan on having to do some work and you better plan on having to mean it and be consistent about it. Because if you're not, they're never going to take you seriously. And it doesn't matter whether you dated 2 years, 1 year, 6 months. This applies to everybody across the board, even marriages. I've seen marriages have dips in them where a fight has happened. People have bailed out for a month. And they've had to make a grand gesture to get them back. Ultimately, this usually happens with relationships around a year. Because a year is a very pivotal point where the pressure's on, big decisions are being waited on to be made, and sometimes they're not. People get disappointed or frustrated, and they're trying to steer the ship, and they're not getting totally what they want, okay? So I hope this information was helpful. You can donate by clicking on the link below and show your appreciation for this information. Or you can contact me on the email below, and I will talk to you soon.